Welcome back to my episode reviews of Earthrise. This is it, the end of the second chapter of the Transformers War for Cybertron trilogy. Because today, we're discussing the finale episode of this amazing season. Picking up from where we left off in the last episode, the Ark and the Nemesis are floating above Earth. However, it seems that their systems are disabled.
Before we exited the rift, we acquired an unbelievable amount of data. Teletran 1 is using every available resource to make sense of it.
Now, at first, this might look like noise and static on COG's screen here, but if we actually frame by frame this, we can see that there are actually images flashing on the screen. But before I get into them, some of them could be hints or possibly spoilers of what may or may not happen in the next chapter, Kingdom. Plus, I kind of go on for a while about them, so if you'd like to skip that, go ahead and skip to the time on the screen, and then we'll continue with the rest of the episode review from there. Otherwise, just stick around because I'm going to be getting into them right now. The first one we see here appears to be some of the Autobots surrounding some kind of explosion of light. We can clearly see RC here, and next to her I think is Mirage, and then above them I think is Ratchet and Sideswipe. It's kind of convenient how COG's shoulder is blocking whatever the main focus of this image is. I wonder what or who it could be. Maybe it's someone ascending into a Prime, or using the power of the Matrix, like Rodimus Prime. The next image we see appears to be Menasor. At least that's who I think it is from the horns and the car chest. Then it looks to be maybe the golden disc adrift in space. Then it's either a picture of Bumblebee in red, or maybe it's just Cliffjumper, although I'm inclined to think it's the former. Then there's an image here that appears to be a bot with their arms forward, almost like they're grabbing the camera or something, but I can't quite tell who it is. We then see what I think is the golden disc again, although if what's on the left side of the screen is Earth, this could actually be the moon. Could it be hinting at the Planet Buster from Beast Wars? Or maybe it's Unicron, and he's coming to Earth in the final chapter. Next, we have another shot of what looks to be Menasor. But who knows, maybe this is actually Unicron. Again, we see this round object. Is it the Earth? Is it the moon? Is it the golden disc? Is it Unicron? Who knows? We next see what looks like Optimus Prime with an axe. Not the axe that he has in the show, but instead something that's a little closer to his G1 Energon axe. But it seems to be handheld like a normal axe instead of coming out of his arm. And he seems to be facing off against someone, but we can't really see who. There does seem to be some giant faces, one of which kind of looks like Beast Wars Megatron. This is followed by another image of Prime with his Energon axe. This one does look like it's coming out of his arm, but that's about all we can see in this one. There's another shot of this round thing, I'm thinking the golden disc, followed by another shot which at first looks like nothing, but the more I look at it, I think that this is Optimus and Bumblebee on the right, and I think Galvatron on the left, obstructed by COG. There's also this image here, which I think is some of the Maximals in their beast modes. I think this is Primal roaring, with Airazor behind him, and I think this looks like a wolf's face, perhaps Wolffang, although it honestly looks like Thunderhowl to me. Maybe it's supposed to be Tigatron or someone like that. We then get some repeated images, followed by a few more of Optimus Prime, I think. Then we're hit with this one, which appears to be Optimus Prime dying, surrounded by the Autobots, and there's this incredible light emanating from his chest. Either his spark joining the Matrix, or perhaps the Matrix is bringing him back to life or something like that. But I think this explains what the focus of that earlier image was at the beginning. Then we get a bunch of repeats, and then we get an image of what looks like Optimus meeting Spike and Sparkplug. And then the rest are basically repeats. I wonder what this all means, if it means anything. Is this information from the future, or possible futures? Again, playing into the Golden Disc card gimmick of the Kingdom toy line. Maybe this is information from alternate realities. Remember, COG said that they received this data before they left the dead universe, aka Unspace. And in Cyberverse, when the Autobots were there, they met other Autobots from other parallel universes. Could that be where Teletran 1 got all this data? Maybe when they were leaving, they somehow overlapped a bunch of other parallel universe versions of themselves, and Teletran 1 received a copy of all the other Teletran 1's databases. Or maybe this was some kind of parting gift from Skylynx before he died. After all, he did show Optimus a handful of alternate pasts, presents, and futures. Maybe before he was destroyed, he pulled a quick Doctor Strange and looked into millions of alternate universes and then uploaded that information to Teletran 1. But enough of me droning on about what this data is and where it came from. On with the review. When we see Optimus, he is trying to commune with the Matrix. This reminds me of when Cheetor did this with the Allspark in Cyberverse. But he says that the Matrix is closed to him, maybe because it knows what he's planning to do the next time he meets Megatron.
I thought their weapons were down! They are. That was their tractor beam locking on.
The tractor beam!
So the Decepticons board the Ark, kind of like they did in the first episode of G1. I find it kind of funny how the Autobots, despite being smaller than most of the Decepticons, immediately seem to have the upper hand on them. Especially RC, who has Starscream in a headlock. Is it just me, or when Cog interrupts Optimus Prime, who is about to execute Megatron, did this remind anyone else of Hot Rod interfering in their final battle in Transformers the movie? It's too bad that Jetfire never relayed Megatron's advice to Prime.
Let that be a lesson to us both. Always take the shot.
If Prime had taken the shot here, who knows how things might have turned out differently. When Cog gets sucked into space, and later on the Autobots are asking where he is, did anyone else expect to see him floating by the main viewing window? I find it funny how after Double Dealer shows up and starts firing on the Ark, Starscream and the Decepticons immediately team up with the Autobots to try and stop him. Wasn't this the same Starscream who was protesting doing this very thing a couple episodes ago? Again, I like Optimus and Megatron's exchange in this episode. Why was all the talking in Siege so boring and pointless? But in this chapter, it's actually juicy and interesting. When Megatron says,
Mercy. Please, Optimus. I beg of you.
Was anyone else expecting Prime to say,
You, who are without mercy, now plead for it? I thought you were made of sterner stuff.
And it is here that Megatron fulfills his destiny of taking the Matrix from Optimus... Oh, oops, wrong clip. And it is here that Megatron fulfills his destiny of taking the Matrix from Optimus Prime. Although, what's with Megatron's pog face at the end here? What else besides the Matrix was in Prime's chest that made him look so surprised? Was Optimus Prime not wearing a bra underneath the Matrix? When it's revealed that Double Dealer is being puppeted by Decius, did anyone else think this was reminiscent of the cortical psychic patch from Cyberverse?
Give them everything we got! And then let's get back to the Ark. This place is gross.
Wait, why is Astro Train like a normal-sized bot now? Wasn't he huge in Siege? What happened? Did he get shrunk? I like how Cog manages to take out Exhaust and Bugbite and take control of the Fortune, aka the mercenary ship, single-handedly. Cog has kind of been this lovable background character who's seen countless numbers of his repaint brothers die. I kind of like that Cog, the real Cog, gets to be a hero. And he's given a hero's death. If I didn't already own a Cog myself, I'd run out and buy one right now. Wait, I do own a Cog, don't I? I better dig through my storage bins and check. After not appearing in the last couple episodes, I'm glad that we finally get to see what Alita and her crew are up to on Cybertron.
It's just the eye of the storm, Jetfire. Do not let your guard down.
Do you think that this is a reference to Stan Bush's The Touch? Shockwave's new stealth tech gives me an idea for another easy repaint Hasbro could do. Simply a translucent version of Siege Shockwave. Come on, Hasbro. It'd be easy money for you. It'd be a lot better than just re-releasing some of the same figures from before. I also really like Alita's little deception here.
Jetfire, tell the Guardians to begin their assault.
What? Guardians?
Fine. Patch me to Omega Supreme and I'll give the order myself.
Surrender and call off the Guardians.
Oh, wow. You believed that? Think I broke your stealth thing.
I love that. Again, why wasn't she the leader of the Autobots from the start? But it seems like Shockwave isn't the only one with new cloaking tech, as some of the other Decepticons get the drop on the Resistance, and Chromia is seemingly killed. When Alita wakes up on Shockwave's table, for one thing, she's missing her faux kibble backpack that's supposed to make it seem like she can actually transform. I don't think Shockwave cut it off her or anything. I think the animators purposely left it off her character model for this scene, because otherwise trying to have her lay back would be difficult to animate. And for another thing, did this remind anyone else of when Rey was captured in The Force Awakens? Too bad Alita 1 couldn't use a Jedi mind trick on Shockwave or some other Decepticon to get him to let her go. Also,
We captured the traitor,
I am on my way.
for someone who supposedly deleted their emotions, that seemed like a very dramatic reaction. I love how apparently Chromia wasn't quite dead yet, and managed to snipe all the Decepticons who had taken the rest of the Resistance prisoner. Even Skytread.
No! My help!
Huh, I guess she really doesn't like Skytread for some reason. She killed him even though he helped them before. Well, unfortunately, it seems like nobody escaped the explosion in time. And Alita, Jetfire, Chromia, Scrapeface, Red Alert, and presumably Shockwave, and everyone else left on Cybertron probably, are now dead. Although, if things occur how I think they will in Kingdom, this could all change. Back on the Ark, we finally get a good look at the Matrix. And it appears to be the exact same model as the one from the Machinima Prime Wars trilogy. I know some of the same writers and staff working on this current trilogy also worked on the previous one, but did they straight up take the same model, give it to Polygon Pictures, and then have them polish it up to fit in this show's aesthetic? I like how Megatron calls Optimus Orion, just like how he called Alita 1 Ariel. Although without the Matrix, Optimus doesn't appear to be any different physically. It's not like when Rodimus Prime lost the Matrix and he de-evolved back into Hot Rod. And so we end this final episode with the Fortune exploding, debris from the Ark raining down on Earth. Which, honestly, when they teased this bit online, I thought it was Transformers arriving on Earth, like they did in the 2007 movie or the Bumblebee movie. And the last thing we see is a cute little Velociraptor. But this is no ordinary raptor, because as it blinks, we see that its eye gets a tech overlay and zooms in on the crashed Ark. Meaning that this is Dinobot. Yes, Dinobot. One of my favorite Transformers finally appears in a Transformers cartoon once again. And I kind of love the fact that he is the first Maximal or Predacon we see in this trilogy. Because honestly, he deserves it. And obviously, this is all leading into Kingdom, the next chapter of the Transformers War for Cybertron trilogy. Whenever that will come out. Maybe sometime in the late spring or early summer. So, this was a really good episode. Not as good as the last one, but still pretty good. It's funny how earlier in this episode, Bumblebee tells Optimus that he doesn't need a Matrix to be a hero. And by the end of this episode, he does lose the Matrix. I wonder if they'll reference that in the next chapter. But as for the next chapter, I have a sneaking suspicion that with all the talk about possible realities and changing the future that they did in the previous episode, not to mention once again, the whole gimmick of Kingdom with its golden disc cards that supposedly give a glimpse of alternate destinies, I think that in the next chapter of the War for Cybertron trilogy, we will see the Autobots and Decepticons, and Maximals and Predacons, and who knows who else, trying to change history. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of the events of this episode are undone in Kingdom. Maybe Cog won't die. Maybe Megatron won't steal the Matrix. Maybe Optimus will execute Megatron and turn into Nemesis Prime, a cold-hearted killer. You know, like movie Optimus. And not to mention, what about the images we saw on Cog's screen at the beginning of the episode? Will any of that come into play in the next season of this show? Again, this was a really good episode, but I didn't love it as much as I did the previous one. Honestly, they could have kind of ended this season at episode 5, and I would have thought it would be a great end to this chapter. The Autobots and Decepticons arrive above Earth. What else do you need in Earthrise? Then you could have just started the first episode of Kingdom with them both crashing on Earth. That's what they did in the first episode of G1, and Beast Wars, and the clip from G1 that they recreated in Beast Wars. So why not this show too? What about you? What did you think of this final episode of Earthrise? Let me know down in the comments. Remember to like, subscribe, and do all that other fun stuff. And I'll see you back here when we finally get some news on the next chapter of the Transformers War for Cybertron trilogy. Hey guys, I just wanted to add this in here to thank you all for sticking around to the end of this video. I want to thank you all for 10,000 subscribers. It's truly incredible and amazing and humbling. And now I'm already at 12,000. It's just unbelievable. And I want to thank you all so much. The channel has just grown exponentially in 2020, and I hope it continues to grow in 2021. I know I don't always respond to comments as much as I'd like to, but trust me, I do read all the comments, or at least as many as I can when I'm not too busy with my day job and other stuff. And I just want you all to know that it means so much to me when you comment and say how much you like my videos and stuff. Especially when times are tough, seeing you guys enjoy my videos really helps brighten my day. So again, I want to thank you all for watching and enjoying my videos. I still want to do a special 10,000 subscriber video. I actually wanted to do one when I passed 9,000 so I could do this whole meme.
8,000, huh? Now it's over 9.
Vegeta, what does the scouter say about his
Subscriber
level?
It's over 9,000!
What, 9,000?
But you all have been so amazing that we rocketed right past 9,000 and hit the big 10K so quickly. So I still want to do a special subscriber video. I have a cool idea in mind, but it's going to take a little longer to put together. So please be patient. Hopefully you like it, but it may not come out until I hit 15,000 or something. Although now I feel like I'm hyping it up too much. But yes, thank you all once again for watching and subscribing and liking and commenting. I really, really appreciate it. And look forward to lots more videos in the future. I have a lot of new ideas and plans for 2021. Let's just hope they don't get squashed like some of my plans did for 2020.